stream, starting the recording. Hey everyone, this is episode 399 being recorded on October 20th of 2020. And 2020, there's that going through. So the stream is working. And we'll get going on the actual podcast here in a minute. And we take that and then we do the editing and get it out as a polished podcast tomorrow. But for now, the raw version is being streamed out right now, twitch.tv/OotiniCast. And then once it's done, we'll also throw up the raw version onto YouTube as well. And it looks like we have, a little bit of time before this gets going. So I'm going to take the moment to do the tweet out.
I will follow suit. Hey, chat. What's up, Taz? How are you? Why am I hearing myself? Because I did not mute it correctly. My singing Tourette's.
There it is. Yeah, one more episode and we're at the big 400.
I know. I don't envy. I was the one in charge of doing all the editing, post editing on the last podcast I was on.
Mm-hmm.
So happy not to do it, but I feel for you.
That's fine, yeah.
So there's been a couple people that asked me to join podcasts, and I was like, I can't. I don't have the time to put into that end of it. So when you said that you were doing it, I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've got it pretty well down now, so usually it's pretty easy. When we have multiple guests, it gets a little trickier. So I'm just kind of expecting next episode to be tricky because we're planning on having several people on for the 400, and it just depends on who can actually make it, and whatever. We'll make it fun no matter what happens. Like even if no one could make it, we'll have a ball. But yeah. All right. And it looks like it's just about, we're at 4 o'clock, so we can get going. And hey, Deck, how's it going?
Hey, Deck.
All right. And let's see, we can get to the top of the show notes. Yeah, we got 2 weeks till the 400. So we're already getting things going on that. And let's see. Your stream is going okay, so
yeah.
Let's see. I gotta hang on. I want to do one thing here.
Ball, let's have a ball.
Cool.
Hey.
All right. So if you're good to go, I'm good to go.
Ready when you are.
Alrighty. And hey, Ducky's coming back. Hey, Duck, how's it going? We've got Duck rating us here, and we're just about to start the actual podcast. So hey, everyone from Ducky's channel, and let me get a little water, and we'll go with the actual podcast.
Drum roll, please.
All right, go on in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that is taking them to imprison them in prison. This is episode 399 being recorded on Tuesday, October 20th, 2020. And I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, KittyKissz. Hey, Kitty.
Hey, Chill. How are you doing?
Great. We're keeping things simple. No guests today because next week we have guests. Plenty of guests is the plan. And we're still lining that all up. We don't know exactly what's going on, but 400 is going to be a lot of fun. But what you been doing? What's going on in game for you?
I have been still playing my Marauder, loving it. Every time I go into combat, I just go, oh God, I love this rotation. And I've finally got my mouse down.
Oh, good. Yeah, the fancy one.
Yeah, I'm starting to involuntarily hit the interrupt button.
Nice.
And then I've got some other stuff on there that are hotkeyed so that I, don't have to wonk around in different areas, that they like move over here, move over there with my hands versus my keyboard, blah, 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 blah. But now it's awesome. And I'm going to start expanding what abilities I'm going to have on the hotkey and stuff like that, which I'm excited for. I love this thing. I hope it, knock on wood, it doesn't break. Because if it breaks, I'm going to be screwed. I'll have to go back to my crappy mouse.
Oh no, that would suck.
Yeah, it totally would. But it's too expensive to buy two. If it was $100.
Yeah.
So I didn't have $200 just throw at a mouse. So, but anyway, happy thoughts, positive thoughts, and I treat it very nice. I took it to a movie yesterday. Very nice. And when I got this thing set up, I also decided that I needed to drill holes in my computer desk. So I got one of those really like 3-inch to 2-inch drill bits, like
right, those really big fat ones.
Boom, drill a hole. Now I've got holes all over. Cables are going down, and around, and they're not on my desk, which is great.
Right.
It's just it's so much better. And then I have decided to redo my what are they called? The power strips.
Okay.
You know, get new ones because somebody that I know, their house burned down because of a old power strip went bad.
Oh, wow.
And of course, I lose sleep over that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to spend some money and get some new power strips and sew holes and power strips and all that kind of stuff. It was, it's been a long procrastination stall time, but you know, things are going pretty good. I played a little bit of the HUD event, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
Right.
And I did buy the new Bounty Hunter set, and again, we will get into that later, I'm sure.
Okay. Well, what character have you thrown it on?
Oh, Bad Pam. She's my BH mommy.
Nice.
So I have like the BH mommy. I have a Sentinel mommy. I have my healer mommy, you know, so that those are the patriarch of that specific class, and it makes it easier for me to remember, and with the spreadsheets too. So, yeah, that's about it. What's up with chat?
All right. Well, we got plenty of people here. We actually had a raid from Duck Sauce, so we've got lots of people here already today. Bantho Mojito, Cheryl Mercury, Cornucopia, Deck is here, Death of Phoenix, Dymaxis, Duty Beard, Dragon Ghost 2, Epic, Gator Skull 1289, Zombie the Zombie, Jedi Knight 1, Judelis, Jutagrilla, Chemus Zephin, Kali's Wolf, Kit Kat, Kitty, well, that's you, Kitty Kisses, Nalazin, Mandalore the Wolf, Nerdy Pixel Girl, Old Taz, Phoenix 1, Philly Ive, Predakill, Arjar's here. Hey, Arjar. Rule of 2, Scipio's Wrath, Smokio, Tell us something, Thanarius 42, and Duck Sauce himself is here, and the Fence Sitter. Hey, everyone. Thanks for coming by today.
And
yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, we had a nice little roundabout here. Swotarista rated me, then I rated Duck Sauce. That was on my actual channel. Then I rated Duck Sauce, and now Duck Sauce is rated OotiniCast. So we're bouncing people around today. It's a lot of fun. So what I did is I created a Mr. Freeze-based power tech with Innovative Ordnance. I think I might have mentioned him last episode. Haven't really played this spec, not for a really long time, but now that I'm actually up, he's not quite 75, but he's really close. He just hit 70 today. He was about to hit 70 like when I actually did my show notes the other day. And he's partway through Shadow of Revan. And yeah, it's actually I'm kind of liking the spec. It's not to the point where it's going to like replace my current DPS main or anything like that, but I'm kind of getting like how it works. And it's feeling more and more natural. It's got some pretty good AoE, some really nice, solid single target damage as well, and some fun animations too. Like it has this magnetic thing that replaces like a flame burst like the normal one, and this one it replaces it with like a magnetic shot, and your forearm kind of opens up and it blasts out this magnetic blast and it hits them. It's pretty awesome. Nice. I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty cool. So let's see. And then I met you in real life, and that was awesome. So we decided, we live relatively close to each other. We have not met in real life yet, so it was time. We spent some time, we kind of prepped for show 400 next episode. And also we did some guitar stuff, and that was a lot of fun. Got to meet Nexu, the famous Nexu kitty cat. He's very sweet and big cat. And and it was great seeing you.
Yeah, it was great to see you too. Nexu, when Chill came in my room, just was like, "What's up with that? Who's that?" Right for him. But he was a little skittish because he doesn't get a lot of guests over. But yeah,
right. Yeah, he was very friendly though. Yeah, just the fact that he actually let me touch him at all was kind of amazing, because a lot of cats, like our cats, are very skittish. Like they will not come out. You won't even see them for a while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like
they just hide.
One of them will really hide. Like she will hide for, like if you're a stranger, she will hide until you've left the house. She's that skittish. She's like that skittish. The other one is like a little less skittish, so she'll see her, but it's pretty rare that she'll actually come up to someone who's new. So it was really interesting to have Nexu be that friendly and stuff. It was a very, very nice cat. It was great seeing you too, and we got to do guitar stuff and prep for 400 and all that good stuff. It was a lot of fun. And let's see, I also today I tried out the Feast of Prosperity, because we had the new drop, and I'm enjoying it. I didn't have a ton of time, so I didn't get everything done. I didn't get to Belsavis, where the moss pickup thing is, but I did try a couple of the missions. I tried the one where you have to deliver food based on what has been ordered, and I did the other one where you actually have to put together some food, and that worked as well. It was a little more confusing. I wasn't sure, especially at the end with the spices, what that actually was going to do, or if you could fail if you chose the wrong ones or whatever. But it was kind of cool, and I'll be interested in trying the harder one. I was able to do, without knowing really anything about it, I was able to get the easy one done with no errors or anything like that. I mean, it's a pretty standard sort of setup, like you can see what they want, you look over there, you pick it up, you take it to them, you drop it off with the number 1 through 5 keys. Pretty easy for that one. And then like I say, the cooking one was a little bizarre, and I had to find where everything was. And
I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, and then
the timer's going, you're just like, yeah.
Exactly. Was that more stressful than actual cooking? Because you're an actual cook in like real life. So
I know. I got home from work and had to deal with that crap.
Get home from cooking and do some more cooking. Yeah. Just what you want.
Set up this kitchen. You have your proteins and your vegetables on the same table.
Not good. Yeah, so, and I didn't have enough time to read the spices, really, so I was like, okay, we'll just try these 3. And I skipped one, and I can't remember which of the 4 I ended up actually doing, but anyway.
I did it on 2 tunes. I did the spice different on both tunes, and it both worked. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you can actually fail it. Who knows?
I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. Or maybe there's like levels. I don't know. Is there like levels of success? I don't know. Because
maybe there is.
When it completed, it sort of said like, despite my, thinking you would fail or something like that, you have nevertheless succeeded. And so I did finish the mission, but I don't know if there's like a like a higher level where you like really succeed, or maybe lower level where you barely succeed, and maybe the rewards are different. I don't know. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just you succeed or you don't. But anyway, and I looked at the vendor to see kind of what was available. One of the pets, I like the little rompy pet. He's a little cutie, romps around. When you do the run animation, he kind of goes whoop, 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 whoop. So that I'm definitely going to go for that pet. And then there's the chef's hat, which is really fun. Although I saw a tweet about how it was on the test server, and it was just a regular chef's hat, just goes straight across, the brow, and it goes up, and like that. And apparently, like, it was clipping with a lot of hairs and stuff like that. So they made it so that it's the kind now that the hat doesn't show the hair, and they added some extensions down on the sides. Which is a little weird because it doesn't look as much like a chef's hat now. I mean, it still does, but it's weird to see a chef's hat with like, ear flap sort of areas and stuff like that. It's a little bizarre, but at least they're not having, at least it's not clipping everyone's hair. So I don't know. They made their choice, and that's what they went with. I totally understand. And then there's a really weird armor outfit. It's like really poofy and has like all these jiggly wiggly things hanging off the back. I guess they're like spices or something. I don't know. Yeah. It's bizarre, but kind of cool looking.
You mean how would you get them?
How do you even get them? Yeah, exactly. You'd have to be.
That's what companions are for.
That's right. Yeah, you're just the pantry. You're just the mobile pantry. That's all you are. But yeah. And it has kind of a wimple, kind of a nun's wimple sort of for the hat. So you could actually do like a nun's outfit now if you wanted to. Yeah. And lots of decos. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to actually fully trying it out, like actually going out to the planets and stuff like that.
Right. And
checking those out. And we'll talk about more about that later on in the show. So that was just a lot of fun. And yeah, that'll bring us to the tip of the week. We have a tip actually from Duck, and Duck said, for a tip, remember that if running or managing a guild, to regularly update your guild perks. The available ones change over the course of the month, and some can provide missions for conquest around craft rallies or warzone rallies, which will provide a lucrative amount of conquest points. Some perks will also increase crit rate or reduce times on crafting, and so on. So thank you, Duck. And as that was the only tip, there's no randomness involved. You are the winner of a Tonfon or M83R droid pet code, or the new M2B9 droid code, courtesy of BioWare, and an OotiniCast provided Cartel Market pack from the latest shipment, which nowadays just means the ultimate packs, because that's pretty much what they do now. So there you go. So yeah, if you're a guild leader, make sure to keep up on those guild perks. There's some really good ones out there.
For sure.
All right. That'll bring us to the Mind Trap. And the question that we put out this time was, where do you make the largest share of your credits? And we broke it down into 4 different options: missions / farming / gathering. In other words, actually going out into the world, playing the game, and making your credits that way. Crafting, playing the GTN, and then selling CC bot items. So, so for me, it's actually crafting. That's actually where I get most of my credits. I get a fair amount from Conquest and, doing this and that, doing things out in the world. I play the GTN a tiny bit, not much. Usually I'm not up on like exactly how much, everything is worth. So sometimes if I know something's like more valuable and I see it for real cheap, I will sometimes grab it and then put it back on the GTN for closer to its regular value. I have done that, but that's not where I make the most of my credits. And then selling CC bot items, I just don't do that. I that's not what I spend my CC coins are, but some people do. So we'll break this down. And so for me, it's crafting, actually. So I do actually make, usually it's just simple bio stuff. It's usually like stims and med packs and just basic stuff like that. They sell pretty well. They sell for a pretty reasonable and sort of set amount. It doesn't fluctuate a whole lot. And that's how I make my credits. So how about you, Kitty? And then we'll talk about what the actual percentages were this time.
I also do the crafting, but I get into it for a little while. Like a little while being maybe a couple days, and then I don't know, I get bored with it, or the price fluctuates enough that I don't make enough money to actually do it.
Right.
But sometimes, especially when I'm making things for my characters, while I'm making them, I'm like, let's go see how much it is on the GTN, and then, it's worth a little bit of money. I'm going to make some extras and then set it out there. I've found with the crafting that I know we talked about it on a previous episode, but with the Kai Zyken NPC, you can buy, what are they? The schematics. And
yes,
you can sell those schematics, but you can also make stuff from that and sell that. So I've been doing that a little bit, and it's been really, really lucrative. But
Nice.
It seems that kind of caught on, and so I've kind of gotten off the money train.
Right. It's kind of tricky because you have to do it based on like what is not currently available or not, or where the market is, and it can be tricky. I guess the other option is you kind of make them and then you just watch the market, and then like if it's not your price, you don't put it up, and then you wait. And I've done that in the past a little bit, but I don't like doing that. I don't like having to like make stuff, sit on it, try to get it sold. It's not my favorite like way to play the game. So usually I'm just making purple med packs and selling them to raiders who don't have a biochem character.
Actually, Dekion brought up something. This is a long time ago, that free to play players can't use purple gear. So if you craft top of the line, quote, end game, like level 60 things, those can be bought by the people that are free to play. And I've done that for a while. And
That's clever.
That makes pretty good money that way too.
That's pretty clever. Yeah, I like it.
The CC thing, I have threatened to do it a million times. I'm like, I'm going to buy that and then sell it.
Yeah, because it's going for 40 million credits or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just never do it because, outfits come out and I'm like, oh, crap, I need that. Or I need to unlock this thing, blah, blah, blah. But I've never done it, but someday I will.
Okay.
You watch someday.
And Duck Sauce in chat is saying, I go insane on crafting when I'm challenging a guildie on a conquest week for top spot. I can easily pump out about 2,000 war supplies and probably about 500 invasion forces in a week and then sell them. Wow. That is a ton of war supplies and invasion forces.
Duck Sauce is a machine.
That is amazing.
When it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
He's talked about that before in chat, and I'm just like, holy crap,
amazing,
man.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a lot. So let's go over the percentages. We had 381 votes, and just almost exactly 50%, 50.4% to be precise, is missions, farming, and gathering, so the stuff out in the world. So half the people make the most of their credits just from playing the game out in the field, conquest, credits, and doing all that sort of thing. Crafting is a little under 10%, 9.4%. So we're actually in the minority this time. It's kind of rare, and in most of, I find that in a lot of these, well, for obvious reasons, you kind of end up in the majority. At least I do, for a lot of these questions, just because that's how math works, among other things. But in this case, I find myself in the minority, which is interesting. So 9.4% on crafting. Playing the GTN, in other words, buying and selling things that are underpriced on the GTN, selling them for more, just under 20%, 19.9%. And then selling CC bot items is 20.2%. So those are almost identical. So playing the GTN is about a fifth of the people, and selling CC bot items is about a fifth. So that's actually a really popular way to go. Interesting.
It's funny that both you and I did the crafting, and that's the lowest.
Mm-hmm. It's bizarre, isn't it? So I guess with selling CC bot items, I guess either you just learn what sells well and what sells for a good amount per CC point that you've spent. That's what I would do anyway. Yeah. Or maybe you're watching for the sales and then waiting till the sales go away, and so the market has fleshed out, and then selling them. I don't know. I guess there's probably a lot of good ways to do it, but it's just not something that I've done. Of course, it's also like one of the fastest way to make credits, so it might just also be like, if you're impatient, okay, I'm just going to buy this, turn around, sell it for 1 credit less than the 38 million credits that this is going for on the GTN right now,
right, and
call it good. And hopefully it sells right away and we can just move on with other things.
Yeah, selling the CC bot items is you gotta be making bank. I mean, those things are selling for so much now. I've noticed that the GTN prices are just crazy high. Mm-hmm. So they have to be making big bucks.
Yeah, there definitely seems to be like a bit of inflation in the game right now. It tends to happen over the course of like an expansion, because like early in this expansion, people are, they're going to the vendors and they're spending their 3 million credits to buy that one piece of armor and all that, or whatever, right. All that stuff, and it's sort of fleshing things out, and it takes a little while for the credits to sort of build up again. But yeah, there's a lot. Nerdy Pixie Girl said, I sold a black die for 125 million credits last week.
My God.
That is crazy.
You know what I did do? I bought the Life Day package that had a bunch of, it had a mount and then a Wampa.
Mm-hmm.
And I had already had a Wampa, so I sat on it until June the next year and sold it for a good 100 million.
Nice.
That was a quick 100 million too. I figured, well, let's wait a couple months until, Life Day's over. And then the price just went, whoop, and I was, woo, that has been 100 million was like a big deal.
That is nice. I remember the last time, well, usually because I'm doing sort of cosplay characters, I tend to find a look right away and then not change it too much, unless I find something that's significantly better that I missed out on. So if I need like a black die, I'm not going to spend 100 million or 125 million credits. I will, and I have done this, make and remake characters until one gets one out of the cantina boxes.
Right.
Because there's like 5 bites at that apple, and it's a pretty low percentage, but I've done that before, and I had to make a character like 7 or 8, 9, 10 times, and then finally got a black die that I needed.
I missed that cantina code. That was so sad. But,
someone else in chat has done that too, almost Shad.
You can actually get away with some things in certain armor sets by going up to the fleet and buying the primary or secondary color with black. And you can kind of manipulate it to have it look all black.
Look almost all black or all black. Yes, it depends.
Right, but that's only certain sets.
Right, not every. Yes, I agree, and that's a really good. It's a really good trick to do too. And sometimes, like, it's really interesting. Like, there are times, like, especially with like, I find with belts, like sometimes the secondary color is like the main color on the belt. So all you really need is like any belt that has like, if you wanted it black and it's that kind of belt, you just buy whatever the cheapest dye is that has secondary black, and boom, it'll look black.
And you could put it on that one item,
right? And then you just make that one item that color for that set. Yeah,
that's a trick.
Yeah, one trick that I keep forgetting about, maybe this is a tip of the week, is if you're doing like multiple like looks on a character, is don't dye the actual outfit. In the outfitter, dye the actual piece and just hold on to that piece. Because if you put it in the outfitter, it's just for that one look. But you might need it, and you might take that, that chest piece, for example, and you might, make a whole different set out of it, but want to keep the current one. Well, that way, if you put it on the chest piece and use it directly that way, you have the chest piece with the dye in it that you can then make other looks for it. But if you put it directly into the outfitter, it's just using that one look and it's gone. Yeah, and it's usually not the good way to go for that. So anyway, all right. Well, yeah. So I was kind of a little nervous about this question, because it was like, what if like almost everyone puts missions, farming and gathering, but it turns out it was the solid pick. It's half, but it wasn't everything. So yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. So all right, that brings us on to the Holo feed. The reminder that the free mini pet for logging in, these have happened before, and they're doing one now. It's for that little space fighter pet, and that's
right.
Yeah, that started today, so it'll be in your characters. It'll be in their mail when you log in, and
kind of looks like a Jedi starfighter a little.
Yeah. They swotorized it up a little bit, but it's basically based out of Squadrons. So, yeah. It's very cute. I didn't notice it having any sound at all, which kind of surprised me. Like not even a little startup noise. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I was not able to hear anything from that pet. But it looks very cool. I do like how it looks. Also, the Feast of Prosperity has started. We have some information on that. So yeah, like pretty much all these events, there is a breadcrumb on the fleet. It's sort of like you go to the one of the four, the north, north, south, east, west, and there's those that not in the inner ring but on the outer ring, kind of near the elevators and stuff like that. And there'll be some Feast of Prosperity decorations kind of up, and they look like some of the ones that you can actually get later on. And then there's a little I think it was a Rhodian. And you talk to the Rhodian, and it'll breadcrumb you off to Nar Shaddaa. And it's actually on the promenade, so you don't have to worry about going to the casino or anything like that. You can, if you just get to the promenade. My favorite way is I go to my stronghold, my Nar Shaddaa stronghold, and if you exit out the Nar Shaddaa stronghold, you exit onto the promenade, not to the spaceport or anywhere else. So you'll be right there. So it's perfect for that. So if you have a Nar Shaddaa stronghold, definitely use it to get there real fast. And yeah, and then you talk to the two huts. There's different conversations. There seem to be different options too, and it's not the kind where you get to go back and listen to everything they have to say. It's like it just kind of ends after a while. So it's like, okay, well, I guess if I'm going to see all of these, I'm going to have to do it on several characters. But yeah, and then you can after you've talked to them, you can start doing the missions, and there as well as go out in the field. Today was Belsavis. I don't know if it is a day by day, but apparently there are going to be other places where you go and clear some things out. So
I like it.
Yeah, and that's
I like leaving, getting to go somewhere else. Yeah. Not just being stuck on Nar Shaddaa. It's kind of right. It's cool.
Yep. There are going to be special ingredient requests. Those are the ones that are across the galaxy. So Belsavis, Tatooine, Hoth, Nar Shaddaa, and Corellia are the planets it can be at. And then they'll let you know which planet that it's on for that period of time. And I think it is day by day. I seem to remember that, although it doesn't say it here, so I guess take that with a grain of salt. So you can either gather it bit by little bit by getting the right critters on those planets, but there's also going to be like a boss creature where you can take it down in a group, and that'll give you a whole bunch of that special rare ingredient. So that's one way to get the stuff. And then there's also the missions. There's Cantina Rush and cooking mini games. We talked a little bit about that during our week. And so one of them is, like I say, the tables light up with what they've ordered. You pick up, you go over, and you drop it off. And there's timers for each order that lights up. So you have to do it before that wears off. I did the easy version. I was able to do the easy version without, and got the bonus for doing it completely with no errors. The very first time with no, it's very intuitive. I imagine and longer than I expected. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I expect the expert version is going to be tricky, but I guess I'll try that probably tomorrow. The other one is the one where you go back into the kitchen and you can actually see the other room. You actually go look across and there's like the room where you just were with all the tables, but now you're in the kitchen and you're actually you're actually creating a particular dish. And yeah, that'll be fun to see like how the differences are and that sort of thing. But so there are the chef's hat. There's a new set of armor, which we talked about a little bit. Tons of decos. There are a couple of mounts, right? I can't remember what they were offhand. Oh, there's one of those stand-up mounts, which is kind of cool. There's not a lot of mounts where your character stands up on the mount. Right. There's been one for a while where it's like a little platform with a little stick that your character holds onto. That one's been around for a while.
Best for platforming. That is the best mount for platforming.
Right, because you can see exactly where your character is. That's a good point. I remember that back in the day, people were pointing that out. It's like, yes, the best one for jumping around. There's a similar one, not really, but it's a stand-up mount where your character is standing up, but then there's like a bunch of feast stuff in front of you,
forklift.
Yeah, like a little lift area. Yep. So yeah, and tons of decos. So if you're into the decoration thing at all, there's lots of good stuff there. It's gonna let's see. It's gonna go for a few weeks because this is not like one of the daily. This is not like the Rat Ghoul event or one of those. This is more like Life Day or the Nightlife event where it lasts a few weeks. And as they've said before when they were setting this up, is there's going to be additional storyline as we go on. Each week there's going to be extra talking missions where you can learn a little bit more about the feast and what's going on. I'm not sure exactly what they're heading off to with that, but I'm curious. One other thing I noticed, not necessarily about the feast, but just about 614, is if your character has gotten all the way through the story already, there is one new conversation that your character can have. And I did that one on the Empire side. And it's basically kind of setting you up a little bit more for what's going to happen in this winter with the Mandalorian Flashpoint and so on.
I wasn't aware of that. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. And
very important, real quick, if you don't mind,
go for
is the Feast of Prosperity has new emotes.
That's right.
A dance,
emotes.
There's a cheer, and I have 100% now. But now I have to get these to keep that 100% in there for emotes. I have 100% of the emotes. I'm going to keep it that way.
Nice.
But they're really cool. And
yeah, they're
that's what I'm going for right off the bat.
There's a nice cheers one where your character like takes a little goblet and holds it up in the air. There's a little dancey one, and then what was the other? And there's also a toy or like the toys regen. that regen. And this one's like a meditation. You meditate, and there's like some food floating in front of you.
Yeah, like
holographic food in front of you.
Or something.
That was kind of amusing.
I had a question. There, you can get a cannon that shoots food or something at people.
Right.
Is there a mini game for that as well? Kind of like
I don't know.
The tinsel bombs.
Yeah, I don't know if there's the tinsel bombs from Life Day. I don't know if there's anything that you can sort of get from that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if there is anything about maybe who knows, maybe that'll pop up later.
Yeah, maybe that'll be added to the story as
possibly, but we don't know. That's the whole thing. Is even on the even people who did the PTS, and I avoided it because I wanted to see this fresh. But they specifically only unlocked the first week on the PTS, so we don't know what's coming after that. But yeah,
right. Are they legit? Is there ulterior motives? What's going on?
That's right. Well, we kind of tell there are. It is huts after all. Yeah, but it's pretty cool. So I'm enjoying it so far. I'm looking forward to trying that more.
Me too.
Let's see. I'm gonna I'm gonna skip down to the 614 patch notes. They had to do some updates of them because there were a few bugs they found, and then they updated them. So all in all, the 614, if you've listened to the last few OotiniCasts, you kind of know all this stuff. So I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. Basically, Feast of Prosperity, which we have talked about. The Conquest changes, so a lot of little changes to the point values for a lot of things in Conquest. They're just trying to rebalance it so that everything kind of gives you an amount of points roughly in line with the amount of time that it usually takes. So unfortunately, the cheesy stuff that I like to do that's super fast, like the decorations and selling gray items and all that, those have kind of been reduced. But whatever, they're still in there though. Go ahead.
When I did the missions for the Feast of Prosperity, I hit Conquest. So it's not too bad as far as I could tell at this point.
Nice. Okay.
And I only played for a little bit too, and it's just like bang.
Nice. There is a level of new augments, which, as we talked about before, it takes a lot of drops from end game Duxon, like hard mode Duxon and all that, and ranked PvP both, and you need both types. And even though they reduced the price on the PTS, so it's a little cheaper, it's one of those things that it's really not going to affect you too much unless you're really, really doing bleeding edge content. So there's that. And there's also Legacy Ignore, which I did check out, and it turns out, despite me playing since launch and having so many characters and so on, and then it mushed all of them together. So basically anyone you ignored on any character is now legacy ignored, but it's also on your legacy ignore list, and you're ignoring all of their legacy. I only had like 3 screens worth, so it was probably like 30 or so names, something like that, maybe a little bit more. Did you check that one out, Kitty? Did you check out legacy ignore?
I forgot about it, but I got an itchy trigger finger.
So you're gonna have way more than 3 3 screens worth.
I mean, I kind of give everybody, a chance. Like, maybe somebody's having a bad day, but if I don't like somebody, they're out. Goodbye.
Right. Yeah, and Scrappy's saying if you right-click someone to ignore, it can bug out. You may have to actually go to the menu and manually type their name in. I've heard about that. They did mention that. And it's kind of the same. It's also bugging out for like inviting people to groups. I wonder if that's related. So that's good to know, though. So thank you, Scrappy. But it's good to know that also there's a workaround. So there you go. So the only trouble is like when someone has a bunch of weird characters in their name. It's like, umlauts and all that. It's like, okay, how am I going to ignore them now? I guess copy and paste is probably how it would work, but yeah.
That's right.
Okay, good.
Copy paste.
All right. Let's see. Then there's a bunch of little bugs that they fixed as well. Nothing that is too. One nice thing is that if you use the random mount button before logging out, you're no longer on a mount when logging back in, and also the button won't remain in an active state on logging back in, which causes the weird "you are already mounted" error message. That's happened to me a fair bit. It's not that big a deal to get rid of. You just random mount again, and it unclicks it. It basically unhighlights it, even though nothing actually happens on screen other than that. And then you can mount up, so that's not too bad. But at least that should be now fixed. Let's see. Players below 75 will no longer receive tech fragments as rewards as intended. Okay. I mean, it's fine. Yeah. I wasn't getting a ton, but there were times, like, if I'm doing, like, Prelude to Shadow of Revan, anything like any of those flashpoints, you'll get a little bit from the bosses, or at least you would. Now, apparently, you won't. All right. That's fine. Players can no longer avoid exhaustion zones. I wonder what that was about. I wonder how you would avoid the exhaustion zones. Like if there's a special item or something. I don't know.
Maybe it's just people because I've watched people on Twitch that like to go behind the game. I wonder if it has something to do with that. And by that, I mean that they go into really odd places on the maps.
Right.
And eventually find themselves in a glitched area.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Whisper and add friend options can now be used from the guild roster for players with a special character in their names. So that's good. Yep. Let's see.
I heard that was going to happen. That's great.
Yeah. Let's see. There was an issue where some /who list searches would not return all matches, so that's apparently resolved, so that's nice. The duration of all in-game pop-up notifications has been shortened. Very nice, because especially if you happen to get like more than one, it's like blocking most of your screen. It's nice to have that go away a little faster. And let's see. Corrected an issue where players were not able to rename their characters in some situations. That's obviously good because a lot of times if you're, there are voluntary renames, and that is a thing in the game. But also, like if you move your character over and it's mismatched, it'll give you a fake name. It'll give you a scrambled name essentially, and you have to rename it. So if it was causing a problem during that that would actually be a problem. Let's see. Oh yeah, and the mission reward window will now automatically pre-select the item if there's only one item to select, which is nice. Because I can't tell you how many times I'm like, okay, accept, and it's like, oh, and I have to click on the one thing
Yeah, it's like blacked
to
out.
select on. Yeah,
I only
exactly.
did one stupid thing.
Yep. Now that's not a thing anymore. Yay! I'm happy about that one actually.
All those seconds that we lost. If we put them together, it might be, a minute or two, but
Yeah, so lots and lots of like little bug fixes like these. I'm actually skipping a fair number of these as well. Like there was a problem with the training dummy health modulator items. The personal starship dummy scales to level 70 when using reverse bolster modulators as intended, stuff like that. So lots of little bugs being fixed, which is great. The cartel market had a couple of bugs that they fixed out, mostly typos and stuff like that. Then we also have some new items. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And let's see. Was there anything else we wanted to talk about specifically? Players will no longer be able to send their companions to do a crafting item mission after a gathering mission as intended. That's interesting. I didn't know that was even a thing in the game.
I don't know if I understand that.
Yeah, it sounds like there was some way that you could like chain them essentially. But yeah, apparently that was a bug and not intended, and now you can't do it anyway. Synth weaving grade 11 combination materials will now grant crafting materials when disassembled by players who have the respective profession. So apparently it wasn't coded to only have synth weavers disassemble them. All right, let's see. And now we do have the 50% damage penalty for the damage specs. So for guarding. So if you're guarding someone and you're in a damage spec, you are now going to have a 50% damage penalty. And this accounts for any class that has guard, essentially. If you are a tank, it should not reduce your damage.
Was that everywhere, or is that just in PvP?
That is everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as soon as you see your health bar diminishing rapidly, you've got someone on guard. Because it's going to be muscle memory for people.
Oh, it
right?
could be. Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely could be.
Or hotkeyed.
Right. Let's see. There was a bug where Forcequake damage was not considered AoE damage, so now it is again. That's interesting. Let's see. Players affected by the Mind Maze ability will no longer take an extra second to recover control of their movement after the sleep effect wears off, so that's good. That sounds like a PvP issue for sure.
Yeah.
Getting slept, those sleep abilities last a long time as it is.
Man, I hate them.
Right. Lots of little bugs, and most of them or changes, and a lot of them have to do with the 50% damage reduction penalty.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. The plasma, the Vanguard.
Mm-hmm.
Also, for some reason, I was just thinking about the Force user characters that have the 50% damage penalty.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all the way around.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of them in the game. Any one that has a tank spec, whenever you're not in that tank spec, you're going to have the damage reduction. So, yep. Let's see. Flashpoint, I love this one. Low-level characters can no longer be equipped with high-level gear when in a flashpoint. That's an interesting bug, especially if it didn't dump it off of you when you left the flashpoint.
Right. Somebody. They finally fixed it.
Probably, yeah. And let's see. There were some Flashpoint bug fixes, Operation bug fixes. Gate Commander Draxus and Dread Fortress will no longer forget about returning players after using Jet away. The ultimate nature of progress. The ultimate Transocean is now immune to lab poison damage as intended. Master mode timed run achievement Ducks and Arrow will no longer be granted incorrectly in some circumstances. And yeah, some uprising ones, Warzone bug fixes and stuff like that. Item rating of 306 is now required to queue for solo rank PvP matches. Players can no longer vote kick other players from solo ranked PvP matches. which is good because I think the reason it was one of the main reasons it was being sort of like used without, for no quote unquote good reason was just because people weren't geared, which actually is a good reason, but it shouldn't have been necessary, So now that item rating 306 is required, I can see where like getting vote kicked would from a solo ranked match would really suck. Players can no longer leave a PvP queue when there's a pending match being created for them. So I guess you have to I guess that means you have to either let it time out or not accept it, which means you get the time penalty.
Right.
So, yeah. Previously, if a player left a PvP queue, they may have encountered an instant decline under certain circumstances, resulting in a rating loss and lockout from ranked queues. So hopefully that's been fixed. They're sort of implying that, but they didn't actually say it. And let's see. Yeah, this is a pretty big patch in terms of like bug fixes. It's just a question of finding the ones that are like a little bit bigger, a little more interesting.
That's getting these things fixed is so great.
Yeah. And there's lots of points rebalanced in Conquest, which we've talked about on several episodes before. Let's see. And yeah, so we also now have some new items. The infamous Bounty Hunter's armor set, which you bought, Kitty. And how are you liking that one?
I like it. I like it a lot.
Do you like the little little hook thingy that sticks out?
I do. It's looks. I don't know. I couldn't really get a good look at it, but it looks like it might be like a little like crossbow or grappling hook type of thing.
Yeah. Right. Does it actually do anything beyond the animation that you can see in the preview, where it sort of expands out a little bit?
I haven't had a chance because I pretty much just got it on that character and then just was like, okay, not gonna. I didn't even equip it. Mm-hmm. I just kind of checked it out. But it has, so I don't know if it does anything. I don't think it will. I mean, a lot of the other animations on the armors don't ever really do anything. They just have kind of an aesthetic effect. But
right.
Then the little boop,
the reticle that comes down,
antenna thing goes down. Yeah. It's a really cool looking set, and it looks like the Mandalorian.
Right.
From the television show. And
yeah, I think especially the helmet is really pretty.
Yeah, the pack that you get comes with the forked gun.
Nice.
The disintegration gun. And it comes with the Mandalorian's pistol, too. And then it comes with the entire armor set. It's pretty good. It also dyes really well. I tried some different dyes on it because some sets don't dye as well as others. Mm-hmm. And I mean that the colors that you put in there sometimes will not have a large area of effect on the armor, but this one has a nice big amount of dye effect on the armor. So
nice. Yeah, really cool. I'm with you like that. Yeah, it's like if I dye something and half of it's just staying gray, it kind of screws things up because it's like really hard to find a use for it at that point. The armor, as Scrappy was saying in chat, is not like, it doesn't feel like hard armor. Like there's some armor bits on the shoulders, but it feels more like it's almost like a cloth armor. So do you like that aspect of it, or? I
do. The legs have like kind of a plating on each leg, but yeah, it kind of looks like my rain jacket almost. But I do. I like it. I think it looks really cool. And, with the Mandalorian stuff, you can mix and match those armors to kind of create something completely new.
Yeah, there's a fair number of them in the game. And not only, but especially like if you start with a Mandalorian helmet, you can put like a lot of trooper chest guards will work as well.
Oh, yeah.
And even certain of the, like agent ones, they have certain agent pieces that have sort of a hard look to them. Sorry, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the scarf thing. I don't know. What is it? Is it just a scarf?
I guess it's a scarf, yeah. It certainly looks like a scarf.
The poncho type of thing almost, flung over the side. I love that stuff. If I see it, I'm like, oh, that. But I have a problem.
Right.
But I like it.
Cool. There's also a discharged infantry armor set. It's sort of like an interesting sort of teal blue color, mostly with some brown. I checked this one out. It's a lot more simple than, it's not as expensive. It doesn't have all the fancy gizzy wizzies on it, but it does I can see what they were going for. It does look like someone who was like in the military, took a couple of bits of armor and some equipment with them when they left, but now are like out on their own, making their way in a tough galaxy. The visor is kind of cool. It almost looks macro binocular like. It has that sort of look to it. And yeah,
I don't think I saw that one yet. Nice, more stuff.
Yep. And as you say, the Payday blaster pistol and the Ambin JP blaster rifle. It was interesting that they took the forked, Mandalorian style gun, and they made it a rifle, not a sniper rifle. Although it's as long as a sniper rifle, it very much is exactly like you say. It's exactly like the one, and I assume that's because blaster rifles are used by more classes, because if you can actually use it as a blaster rifle as a sniper. I've done that before. You can use it on the other side of the agent as well, and then troopers both sides of them can use it as well, I believe. I don't think you have to have an assault cannon as a commando. I think you can get away with a regular. I could be wrong. Maybe you do have to have a one
for certain abilities. I think you do.
In that case, it kind of screws that up. But but in any case, it's more than just than a blaster or a sniper rifle would have been, which is just the sniper and no one else.
It also has a little electricity effect on the end.
Yeah, I saw that when I previewed it. It's like, when you're in combat, it has like a little zappy at the end. That was pretty cool.
Fraud.
Right.
Get those pesky Jawas off your ship.
And it even says the weapon has a unique kill animation. The animation doesn't trigger with ability use. So it's when you actually kill someone, it'll have a kill animation, which I assume is a little zappy zap.
No, I wonder if it's going to be the animation from the Mandalorian. They just kind of go poof.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. That'd be hilarious, but I doubt it. But hey, you'll have to tell me. Then there's the Devastator hover turret mount, which has the flare seems to be a big, the gun shoots. And again, that's like the one Mandalorian thing where he jumps on that one big gun and starts shooting everyone. And it even says mount has a firing flourish. That's what it looked like in the preview anyway. The Desert Mudhorn mount is pretty cool. Big critter with a giant, rhinoceros horn on the front. And it's really big, too. It's a gigantic creature mount. I think there's a couple bigger in the game, but not a lot of them. And then there's a big Exiled Mercenary decoration bundle. And the thing that I like from it is it has the little eyeball on a stick, like from Jabba's palace. Kuchuta. Exactly.
The first thing I noticed too when I was looking over that, I was like, "Oh, it's got the little thing."
Yeah, the little eyeball on a stick.
Kind of cool. It has like a stable or a pen. It looks like it has a pen.
Which
is kind of cool,
Yeah.
You could use that and
put little pets in it and stuff.
Yeah.
Or companions you don't like.
Put one baby Yoda in the middle. Just.
All right. There are some known issues for Game 614. Those have come out today. A lot of them having to do with either the new cartel market items or with the feast. The visual effects for helmets are not displayed in the character selection screen. So, like, if you preview the Mandalorian helmet, it does show the little reticle going down, but the little red light that it's supposed to give off doesn't preview. Apparently, it is in the game, though. The infamous Bounty Hunter's belts don't change color when a color die is equipped. The infamous Bounty Hunter's armor helmet is missing voice modulation in cutscenes. That's something that they're actually fixing in the next patch. Feast of Prosperity. The hat doesn't change colors when a color die is equipped. Progression for group players can be blocked in cooking minigame missions. To progress those missions, players need to ungroup and then complete them solo. And then prosperity tokens are only available as quest rewards on Mechsha and Onderon and not as loot. So that's interesting. And I'm not sure exactly everything that entails because I didn't go to Belsavis, and I did do those 2 missions, and I got the regular rewards from those, so I'm not sure what would be looting.
Maybe those tokens drop, in your little mission completion, but the amount doesn't get added to your tokens.
Right. I'm wondering if like you're getting tokens like as regular loot drops in certain places, or even throughout the game. Like how you could get like the chips for the nightlife event. Maybe it's something like that. I'm not aware of it though, so I guess we'll have to find out. Let's see, and then Ulavi reported, and then they talked about thanks for the report because the right chat click invite to group doesn't work after 614. So if you're trying to invite someone to a group from chat, that's not working as intended. You'll have to do it some other way. So 614A, we just had 614 today. 614A is coming tomorrow. And so they are working to fix it up. They've updated the patch notes, but here are the patch notes for 614A. So the following enemies required for the prep work missions and Feast of Prosperity will respawn more quickly: Escape Nexu, Sandskimmer Skik, and Geobeast Larva. So apparently some of those either were not respawning properly, or they decided that they needed to respawn faster so that people could take place in the event, which is good. Corrected a typo in typo, who cares. The character's name will be displayed when using the Disguise Terminal Cantina Dasher. Oh, that's right, there's a couple of Disguise Terminals that you can get from the Feast as well. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, and the infamous Bounty Hunter's armor helmet will now have a modulation voice in cutscenes. So there you go. One other thing that happened with 614, after some investigation throughout the day, the team has discovered a scheduling bug with the conquest at the launch of Game 614. The effect of it is that this week's conquest, Balance of Power, will also run next week. The conquest and event schedule will return to a normal rotation after this double listing. And unfortunately, this means that the Rakghoul event, which was supposed to come as well, is not here. So they've updated the website schedule, but it's just not. These sort of we know from what they've said in the past that even like Rakghoul events, even things that have happened over and over again, they can't just like flip a switch. It has to be kind of prepared ahead of time. And then put into a patch and everything like that. So it has to be done ahead of time. So they can't just like flip a switch and get it going again. So it's just not going to be a Rakghoul event this week. Unfortunate. But
you got one. Did they actually give us a date that the Feast of Prosperity is going to end?
They have before. I think it's like basically a 4-week event from what I remember.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and it's roughly as long as the other ones have been. So yeah, 10th of November. So yeah, I guess that's more like 3 weeks, isn't it? So
gotta get in there.
So there we go. 10th of November. So 3 weeks is more accurate. So yeah, there we go. And yeah, I'm looking forward to trying some more Feast of Prosperity, seeing how all that works, going out into the Belsavis and Tatooine and all that, and seeing how that works. And also maybe trying that harder version of that one mission, which is a little intimidating because the easy was easy enough. Like I said, I got it done without knowing anything about it and just kind of figuring out what had to be done. But it wasn't. But some of them were like going yellow, and even I had a couple of them turning red on me. And then I presume in the harder version that would have failed on me. So
I heard in chat that that the hard one is like really long.
Okay.
Like it's twice as long or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true. It was in general chat, so.
Right. Something, just another little hint about that mission when you're delivering the different feasts is I noticed like if I go beyond picking up 2 items, if I had 3 or 4, it starts slowing you down. So if you're going to pick up 4, you have to really want to, you want to really have 4, and you try to get rid of them as fast as possible. You want to get down to like 2 or 1s, which is where you're actually pretty speedy. So
I think I got like 6 of them.
You can actually put more than 4?
Yeah, you can put more than 4.
Oh, okay, great. And then you really crawl, huh?
Yeah, you're really, really
It's
close.
like Kai Zyke and Mount Log at that point.
Exactly.
All right. Anything else, Kitty?
I think that is it, Chill.
All right, then that's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Satil Shan server, or in our Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly, Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific. Go to OotiniCast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby, and thank you to the chat room. Next episode is 400. We're going to have some extra special stuff going on then. It's going to be a lot of fun, so hope to see you then. And as of right now, we are still planning on having it at 4 p.m. Tuesday Pacific time. It's possible that depending on what the guests need, that we might need to move things around a little bit, but we'll plan on 4 p.m. Pacific for next time. Thanks for coming, and can't wait to see it.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, chat.
All right.
Thank you, Chill.
You bet. And we'll see you next show.
Toodles.
All right. Stopping the stream. Stop.